The following podcast contains adult themes and adult language. Listener discretion advised.
And although we joke, if you or someone you know is affected by or a victim of domestic violence, dial 1-800-799-7233 or visit the National Domestic Violence Hotline's website, thehotline.org.
But it's always the husband, it's always the husband, it's always the husband, I'll keep it.
Hi, this is Sarah.
And this is Megan.
And you're listening to It's Always the Husband podcast.
Welcome.
Thank you again for tuning in and pushing play on our shit show.
Yay. This is a true crime podcast where we barely talk about crime.
Yay.
Talk about sweaty tits and
Menopausal vagine.
and then we talk a little true crime.
Yeah.
Totally botch the story, but hopefully make you laugh. So
I hope.
if you like that, keep listening.
Yes.
Sarah, how was your week?
I went to Chicago, so I was not here to do a lot of stuff. But I was in Chicago, but not really in Chicago. I was in a suburb of Chicago, so I wasn't in the city Chicago.
What suburb were you in? North or south?
I don't even know. I have no idea.
She don't know, but you did an interesting thing. Most of the time when people from Minneapolis go to Chicago, they make like a 7 to 8 hour drive.
Yeah.
You flew.
Yes.
How was it?
It's only an hour flight. We went because I had to help my mother-in-law who needs some assistance. So we flew with her. But then you still have to wait at the airport for 900 years.
Yeah.
And then it's an hour flight, which
Yeah.
is not bad. And then we rented a car. Renting the car took 17 hours in line.
Really?
It was horrible.
So it's
1,000 degrees.
Maybe better just to
So
drive
it took us, which we could have, but if it was just us, we would have.
Yeah.
So
okay.
but
Great.
we were there for a wedding.
I've never done it. I just was like, hey, maybe that's the way to go.
No,
And
I mean, if we wouldn't have
was
taken
dumb.
1,700 years for the rental car, or if you don't rent a car, we've flown before and not rented a car and just taken a train.
Yeah.
Because his cousin used to live there and went right into Chicago, and that was easy. But
How long does it take the train to get there? The
I
same
mean, it depends
amount
on
of
where you're.
time?
I mean, we flew and then we didn't ever got a car.
And then
Took
just took
trains
the L.
to our hotel.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Well,
I was here wasting away melting.
We melted too. It was
in
terrible.
The Minnesota heat and humidity. It was literally wet outside but not raining, just so fucking hot. Everyone was dying.
I know, and this is the coolest summer we'll have for the rest of our lives.
Well, the week before it was freezing. Like we had a garage sale and it was cold, and I was wearing a blanket around my sweatshirt.
Oh, I was in Wisconsin then, and it was lovely.
And
lovely.
I don't know what I like more. I can't figure it out. Anyway,
Nobody can, and that's why we get sick, because our body says, "What the hell's going on?"
what is going on? But it's
terrible global warming.
But it's summer, and let's get excited.
It is. Summer's wonderful. I don't care, even if I sweat my tits off. Summer's the best.
So, because usually we have shitty weeks.
Summer's always good, even when it's shitty.
It is. Sometimes, like the heat was shitty. So what got you through? What was your glitter in the shitter?
I have nails now that crumble into dust like my vagine.
Oh, no.
So I normally have had zero luck with any kind of, I'm cheap, as you know.
Also, you liked that nail polish one time that you got.
I did.
Yeah.
But I just am so sloppy with nail polish.
Yeah.
And it takes, for it to dry and all that, whatever.
Yeah.
And I wanted just different design. You can't really have different cute designs, nail polish. So I found, just looking at TikTok, I found a brand called Be Tart. Like Be a Tart.
Not to be confused with our friend Be Tits.
Be Tits.
Right. Okay.
But it's the website is BTART box nails. So BT Art box nails.
Okay.
.com.
Okay.
And they're cute. They're really cute. They're easy to put on. The glue is like hardcore, and you can reuse them. So you put them on. You can wear them for like 2 weeks, and then you just soak them in water for like 10 minutes, and they pop off, and you put them back in a little bag, and you can use them again. And there's all sorts of, and they fit my man hands.
Now that's been the problem.
Yes, nothing fits, and these easily. I don't have to buy any special man hands version or giant fat ass version. I buy regular, and they have just in their little regular box fits giant man hands, and they have teeny tiny ones. So anyone can just buy a normal kit. You put them on. It takes 2 seconds, and you can wear them for as long as you want until you take them off.
Nice. Great. My glitter in the shitter, because I'm at home in the summer, I like to cook.
Oh.
I mean, like I like to try new things, new
You're
experiments.
very good at it.
And so I've followed this forever, and I'm sure everybody knows this, but I've been really loving it this summer. It's all recipes. Just like on Instagram, they're reels, and they make like real food that my family would actually eat.
That is true.
And it's not like too hard or too weird.
And you're more advanced anyway. So
I'm not advanced at all, but I just like to make things that taste good. And I mean, like the recipes are like a lot of hot dishy things, which, you know, is my jam. And then also some great like dips and things that you can take to parties. And so I'm just going to give the all recipes a shout out. Thanks. I love you.
It is good.
Yeah.
And you can get an account on it. I think it's save ones you like, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because I used to print out, and now I have 800 printouts of stuff, and I don't even know how to cook. And then it's just loose paper. I'm just a pig.
It's hard being us.
I was going to give a quick shout out to my college roommate. Her name is Jude.
Hi,
Judy.
Jude.
Her name is Judy, and she had me for a roommate and Marnie, and we were all fucked.
We're sorry.
Judy has a website where she sells lovely art. So I thought if people wanted to take a look.
Really?
She's also getting a hysterectomy. So she was going to ask you for tips. And I said, just her tip is do it.
Yeah. Do it and get your painkillers. And I think they get, they're very stingy with them. They only give you like 10.
No, because they put that gas in you to float your uterus, and then they yank it, and you said that hurts.
It does hurt. So that's what I'm saying. Before you leave, make sure that you can get a refill on the painkillers, because I was still having a lot of gas pain in my shoulders, and I had used all of my
hell yeah, they are
medicine.
stingy, which you understand. You don't want.
Yeah. No one wants to be addicted.
No, but nobody wants to have searing gas pain
also,
in your shoulder.
I've never experienced pain like that. I would have children with no epidural rather than feel that pain and how it, and you just can't. It doesn't stop. It hurts so bad. Okay, so good luck, Jude.
So her website is www.judy, Judy, like the old lady Judy. McDonald, like McDonald's.
Okay.
McDonald.net. She didn't get a com. She got a net.
Judy McDonald.
And she's normally a comedian. And in college, if perchance a joke would ever bomb, and it probably never did, but she would say, that was my roommate Sarah's joke.
Oh.
And I would say, what?
I can't believe that none of your jokes ever bomb with us.
I thought, how dare you, sir?
What a
bitch. So check it out. She's lovely things, and I just thought that might help her get through her hysterectomy.
Great.
That we all should get. Yank that sucker out.
Yeah.
Well,
Facebook funny?
Yeah. I didn't have time to look.
Okay, we have a group, it's on Facebook, and it's called It's Always the Husband Podcast Group. And you just ask to join, and we let you in, and then you can post funny memes. And I have just two things to say about Facebook this week. I'm going to give two shout outs to two Sarahs.
Aye.
First of all, Sarah Hussey Miraz, I think is how you say it, just posted something this morning that said, "This made me think of Megan." And I thought, what a sweet baby angel this Sarah must be. And it was something about like, she's sweet and her heart is open and weeping, but then she swears like Samuel L. Jackson or something like that.
That's true.
I was like a Hallmark card, but Samuel L. Jackson wrote it. So thanks, Sarah.
That's very true.
Right. I do have a bleeding heart and
a
sometimes
fart
I
mouth.
swear. Yes. Foul mouth. And I'm sorry, Dad. The second shout out from Facebook is to the second Sarah Dorner. She put the picture of, it was like an old Victorian painting of a woman. It looked like she was languishing, and the title of it was Humidititties. And I wanted to say how I really related to the Humidititties, and that if you're a longtime listener, you'll know about this, but everyone, the underboob rash has made its 2025 appearance this weekend.
Oh no.
Humidititties
It's
is
there
real.
again. Oh,
It's
no.
real and it's happening.
So what do you have to do? Get a cream?
I don't know. Last night I just put some like baby butt cream on it and it felt okay, but it was so hot this weekend.
It was.
I couldn't do
everything
anything.
was sweating.
And my boobs are so flat and heavy that they just make a rash underneath them. So thanks, Sarah, because Humidititties was real and the rash is here. Thank you.
Jamie Lynn Chemist did put the She-Ra Barbie for me.
I know.
And she's wearing the original She-Ra garb. I like that. Not the new She-Ra's outfit.
There was a new She-Ra?
Well, there was a new She-Ra and they gave her a less sexist outfit. And I said, no, we don't need to do that.
No.
She-Ra, original
tits and
She-Ra
ass.
can show her tits. If she wants
That's
to show her
right.
goddamn tits,
That's
let her
right.
show her tits. She's not porking anybody.
No, and her tits were good.
I know.
It was like she had
She
fake
had
ones,
no
but there
interest
was
in men.
no such thing. No, she's probably an Amazon.
I know. She can do whatever she needs to do. But it's lovely. So Barbie is as She-Ra, and she's got arm muscles for days. Look at those.
Yeah, she does.
So I love it, and I should
Cool.
buy it. Keep it in the box.
Yeah. One more programming note. If you like to read, join our book club. We're reading God of the Woods by Liz Moore. And I thought it was next week, but we're actually talking
tomorrow.
about it tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be there this time. Last time I couldn't function.
You couldn't do it. You just couldn't. And we have those times where you just couldn't make it.
Yeah.
You were
and
very ill. She was still in her very ill sickness.
And so
it's called God of the Woods.
Yeah.
We are reading, and I loved it.
Okay,
I read it in one day.
Okay, so that gives me hope because I'm about, I don't know how far through. I'm reading on my Kindle, so I don't know how far.
It's
I am.
very long book.
Oh shit!
So you may.
I'm in the. I mean, I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I'll try to read it tonight. My husband's gone. Thank God. Sadly, his uncle passed.
Oh, geez.
An
That's too
uncle
bad.
I've
I'm
never
sorry.
met, and we've been
Oh.
together for 19 years. But
Oh.
anyway, he's gonna go to the funeral, and so I'm home alone. So maybe I'll get to just be like not annoyed by anyone.
Maybe you can,
read.
or at least get the.
Yeah.
Otherwise, read a summary or something. But I actually really liked it. It was a mystery that I was very curious to see how it turned out.
Damn it.
So.
Okay, I'm going to read it. Anyway, we're meeting tomorrow night. So great. Let's talk about...
All right. So this story kind of goes off of our shtick a tiny a bit, but who the hell cares?
Sarah went off the rails with this one.
I just saw it. It's from a show called Married with Secrets. So it's pretty certain that there was a married in it. And there is, just a little bit different.
Now, before we start talking about it, I want to say... trigger warning or whatever we're supposed to say
we are.
before we talk about this because there's talking about suicide, self-harm, and dick husbands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So if those things are bother you, as they should, because they're horrifying, just take caution with your mental brain.
Yeah.
Ours are already fucked, so we just
totally fucked. What I did want to say about this was I love the accents.
The accents, but I don't know if...
Except for one cop didn't have an accent. He was like from Kentucky.
I believe they were all American actors, except the real people were real.
But I thought the acting was not bad.
Except for the cops. I thought it was very good.
The dad, I got choked up a little bit.
He was very good. I think he was. I think he misunderstood the audition and didn't know what was for the show and thought it was something like Masterpiece Theater or something. Because he was very talented.
He was good.
So we watched Married with Secrets, season 1, episode 3. So right at the beginning, and it's called Yes, Master.
Yes, Master.
And it's quite. This has some sexual things in it.
Yeah.
So if you're prude like Megan, sorry. So we're going to Dublin, Ireland.
I just couldn't. I was disgusted.
Oh.
The whole time.
And it's we're in September 13th of 2013, and we got Magali Vergnet.
Magali. She's a dog walker.
She was a dog walker, and she's hiking with her dog Millie. And Millie takes off, and she's like, "Millie, stop it! Stop it, Millie, come back!" She's yelling, and Millie is not listening to a fucking thing she's saying. Millie's tearing through the woods.
And I was like, I wouldn't let Millie off leash if that's how she listens.
And if it's not her own dog.
Yeah.
Like, if you lose it, you're shit out of luck, Magali.
Magali, maybe keep Millie on the leash.
But Magali could have been Millie could have been Magali's own dog, and she just was tired of it by the time she gets home. Her own dog's like your own kids. She don't give two shits.
I'm just going to let you go.
So she's like, Millie, come back. And the dog is after something. So Magali is tearing after her. She comes upon Millie, and then Millie kind of scattles into the bushes. And then she looks down, Magali does, and sees very poorly recreated rib bones.
What was going on?
The rib bones
were
made out of paper mache, gray paper mache, and they were very flat. They look like a xylophone or some sort of big comb for a dinosaur with hair.
It looked like they fell off the facade of Castle Grayskull and just plopped down. They were gray.
They were gray and flat and wide as a ruler. Like, who doesn't know the human body enough to make paper mache ribs? Who made these props? I could have done it for $12. I would have done it for you. But they were flatter than shit. Like a steamroller ran over her.
Yes, it was like a piece of paper.
Come on.
That they painted
And
gray.
so Magali finds, we're assuming were rib bones, but they look
she had a real eye for bones if she put 2 and 2 together.
So she finds bones, and she's thinking, "Oh shit, are these like deer bones?" But then she starts kicking things, as you would if you're walking and find a whole bunch of bones. You stick your foot in there and start kicking at it, kicking and kicking it,
right?
And then she finds, holy shit, there's pants. There's some blue joggers here. So she kicks at the blue joggers, and then there's like a foot in there or something.
A shoe. Yeah.
And she's like, holy shit, I think the deer wasn't wearing blue joggers. This is a person. And then Millie comes back with a bigger bone in her mouth.
This bone was still gray.
It is a Brontosaurus bone in her mouth of a gray bone.
This was a 3D version.
3D printed dark gray bone.
It wasn't flat.
And Millie was like, I am in heaven with this Sean on this human bone.
Yeah.
And Magali is like, oh shit.
That looks bony to me.
This is human. And then we go back in time to August 24th, 2012. And this is where we see this fabulous actor, the whatever, who should it be?
He's like Sean Connery.
Well, a good actor for the Discovery Plus crew. So Frank O'Hara goes into the police station and he sits down and he says, my daughter, she's missing. And the police stare at him and he says, she's missing. And they say, well, what's her name? He says, Elaine O'Hara. She's been missing for 2 days. And he knows she's missing because they are in contact every day, all the time. And there's been no contact. No one's seen her. No one's heard from her. And you know, if you're a parent and your kid contacts you every day and then days go by and there's no contact, and that's weird. So hopefully when parents say that, the police listen. And 2 days is over the whatever 24 hours if they still do. I don't know what they do in Ireland.
Correct.
But
we do have some Irish listeners.
We do.
Maybe they'll tell us.
So
I bet they alredy know this case because
they probably
apparently
do. It seemed to be very huge.
Yeah.
They describe Elaine as 36, 5'3", blonde. And then we see her friend Jane Cahill. I mean, I'm going to be mean to Jane because Jane had one sentence to describe her friend Elaine, and she called her a fat ass.
Fat.
So if you had one sentence to describe me on the Discovery Channel, and that one sentence you just said, well, she was a fucking fat ass, then I would be mean to you as a listener.
Right.
Jane, go to the dentist. And don't call your friend a fat ass if you only have 1 minute to describe her. You called her a big old fat ass. And come on.
You have nothing to talk about, Jane. You
Get
have
it together.
No, you are throwing stones and you
are.
live in a glass house.
She lives
Jane.
in a very precarious glass home.
And your teeth are the fence around.
Yeah, they are. Very rickety fence, Jane. Just stick to. You don't have to describe anything about anybody's weight ever.
No.
In any kind of murder show. This is irrelevant nonsense.
If you had one word to describe me, what would you say?
I'd say fat ass.
All right. Okay.
Megan McDermott missing. Fat ass. Local fat ass missing. Friends say too fat to fit in car. Bring your van.
Be on the lookout for big bones.
I just couldn't believe it. Like, come on. It was like that one Dateline where they described that woman as a fat ass for like 5 minutes. And she wasn't even fat.
Everything about her was awful.
I just thought, come on. Oh, but Megan is not anywhere near a fat ass, so if you're just listening, so it wasn't mean. So the dad, though, tells the police
oh God, okay.
that Elaine did have some pretty significant problems.
He said she was the best daughter in the world, but she did have some problems.
She did, which could, what he said it not to just be like, oh, this could be part of the case.
Right.
So Elaine, first of all, they say Elaine was not social or outgoing. And I thought, oh, well, yeah,
like
that's
you.
Me. Very much so. But she really had depression issues since a child. For 20 years. She was dealing with this. I don't know how much like doctors were involved, but they were towards the end. She was actually like working on getting help. Like she knew she had her issues and she was getting help for her issues. But it looks like in her teenage years, as her friend described her, she was bullied a lot, and she had incidents where she was so depressed where that they said there was possible, self-harm, where she wasn't ashamed of it at this point because she'd wear short sleeves.
They said
just kind of like
she was cutting, and they knew that she was cutting because she wouldn't try to cover it up.
Right. And that she had a possible a suicide attempt at 16 that her mother walked in on. But since her family was very, very supportive
and got her mental health help.
Right. And so she stayed, in a depression, but she was monitored, I think, through doctors, it seems like, and was getting getting better at living with her depression, her anxiety, and trying to earn her degree as a kindergarten teacher. Right. Good God, blessings to you, because that is not easy.
No, it is.
So
not.
her dream job was to work with children. I thought, what? But she loved tutoring kids, which is what she had been doing.
Do you think that's good for mental health? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they're looking at kids. They're so crazy. She maybe thought, this chaos maybe makes me forget some of my other things.
We joke. I love teaching.
I
do.
Yeah. So 2001, she gets her dream job as a childcare assistant in her mom's school. And her mom is a teacher too. And she has just a fun job. She's working with her mom. She's working with kids. She loves her job. And then she's on the track to recovery and loving life. And then her mom dies of cancer. Like, what a kick in the fucking crotch.
Yep.
Absolutely horrible. And they said it had a high impact on her. Well, of course.
Her mom, plus she worked with her, was there every day, had a close relationship, relied on her.
Yes. She wanted a career like her mom's. Her mom was like a mentor at the same time. I mean, her mom was a massive part of her life. Her father then becomes her sole support, but she was very close with her dad. They talked every day. Her dad helped her buy a place to live. Because she is trying to be a teacher, she poor as hell. So when she had financial problems, her dad always was willing to step in and help her through, just to keep her on track with her health, her mental health and stability, because the more stress she would be under, I'm assuming, the more chances for her to fall deeper into her depression. But during the next few years, she realizes by 2012 in the summer, she's having a really hard time. So she tells her dad that she's going to check into a psychiatric hospital to get some help. And he's very supportive and takes her there. She checks in. She's there for 3 weeks. She comes out and she's like, great, I got the help I needed. I feel really good. She calls her friends and says, I feel great. I feel a lot better.
Let's go to the festival tonight.
Yeah. She was going to go out with some friends because she was going to be a guide for the Tall Ships Festival. Is that where just tall ships flow by?
They fly by.
I'm assuming.
Tall ships, huh?
Yeah.
What about the short ones?
I don't know where the short ones
festival?
go. They probably just say, get to the side. We don't really have any interest in you.
Short ship.
Yeah, you dick. So then Megan marries short ships. I marry tall ships. Tall ships that get their own parade.
It's so dumb.
We are dumb. That's why. So the next day, no, you have the giggles.
I know I can't. Tall ship festival.
Tall ships.
I'm looking it up. I
there
gotta
has
see
to
what
be.
this
There,
is.
I'm sure there's a New England tall ship thing too. That sounds like something.
Fuck?
We're not. We're in the middle of a country, so we have
don't-
nothing.
Yeah, we
don't know
no
anything.
Ships. There's no ships.
We have nothing.
No. Okay.
We have one of those paddle boards you spin with your feet.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a paddle board festival?
Yeah, there probably is.
So the next day, Dad picks up Elaine and they go to a lovely lunch. But they actually go and then visit together her mother's grave and have a nice talk. And he says he's proud of her.
Stop it, Sarah. There are tall ship festivals everywhere. There's one in Duluth.
Oh, I guess because we have ships that go through there, but that's a lake.
Tall Ships Festival.
When is the one in Duluth? We have to go now. Go
July 10th through the 13th.
We could go to Tall Ships.
There are 12 majestic tall ships. Do these tall ships go around?
Do we just wave at them when they go through the canal?
Tall ships coming to Duluth. Where are they coming from?
They're coming from the tall ships from Ohio or Michigan.
Where are the tall ships?
Canada.
Tall ships of the Great Lakes. Where are the tall ships of... Where was this place at?
Dublin.
Dublin?
When is Tall Ships Dublin? It has to be
Tall Ships
August.
Regatta.
Some in the August.
They sail into the Dublin port. Oh, this one was... I don't know. What the fuck?
Well, we're not learned in tall ships.
Yes, I never knew about tall ships.
Well, I guess we know now.
What about the short ones, you know?
That's what we would be on.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely. The shorter
ship.
The shorter as possible. That's our ship.
No such thing.
Short ships. We hardly knew ye.
Short ships, man.
Popeye the sailor, that short ship. I don't want no Popeye and no short ship.
Are so sorry that we're dumb.
We are assholes. So, what an inappropriate time for us to do this too. But this is a very good feel-good moment between father and daughter, talking about their mother, and she's feeling very healed and healthy. So she tells her dad, because she has to work tall ships, that she's going to go to bed, because when you have to guide tourists all day, that has to be a pain in the ass. Because there's people like us going, what the hell is this?
They're so tall.
Yeah. What do you do here? Look. Yeah. Oh, do I wave or something? Do I wave when they go by and point to them? Oh, do I buy some sort of a candy?
Yeah.
Is there a T-shirt?
I don't know.
Do we get a hamburger? What do they eat in Ireland? Coleslaw?
Fish and chips?
They eat some sort of boiled meat.
Haggis?
Yeah.
Or is that in
Scottish.
Scotland?
They eat boiled meat and slaw?
Where's Niv when we need her?
I don't know. She's
she's probably... she's so mad at us right now. Okay.
So we get to August 23rd. 2012. This is the No Ships Festival date, and her coworkers and friends that are there waiting for Elaine are noticing that she's late. She's not showing up. So they call her phone and it's ringing. And then they call Frank, her dad. And her dad thinks, oh, maybe she just is kind of moving slower around since she just kind of got out of the hospital. She'll get there. So Frank calls her phone, but again, there's no answer. He just runs over to her apartment to try to check on her. Goes in, isn't finding her. He actually visits the hospital she was at just to see, oh my gosh, should she check herself back in? Maybe she just felt like she needed a little bit more time. She's not at the hospital. So when he goes back to her apartment and looks around, he sees that her phone is there because he's calling her, and then her phone rings, and he thinks Elaine's never left anywhere without her iPhone. It's an iPhone he sees. So he kind of funny or ironically, they said, text her, are you alive? And he gets no response. So the next morning, Elaine is still missing. She's not responding to friends or to Frank. So Frank and his lady friend, Sheila, they go to the apartment again and try to investigate, look around. Is there something they can find that gives them a clue where Elaine might be? No changes in the apartment, so it doesn't look like she has shown up back at her apartment. She still isn't there. They find her purse there, and Frank says, well, for fuck's sake, she's not going to leave without her purse or her phone. Something's very wrong. Right. Well, Frank is looking around in the kitchen living room area. The lady friend, Sheila, goes into the bedroom, and Sheila's dicking around in the bedroom. She goes to the laundry hamper and I guess sticks her big old hand in and feels something oily, rubbery, and slippery, and pulls it out, and it is a latex bodysuit for sexual things, and a mask. So she has found a black sex suit for BDSM things, and a sex mask, and she said it was very oily and rubbery.
I don't like that.
Yes, there was a stickiness to it. And Sheila shoves it back in the the laundry hamper when Frank comes in the room and says, "Did you find anything?" And she says, "No, nothing." Because she's like, the last thing I want to do is say this right now. When we can't find Elaine, the last thing I'm going to do is show a father his daughter's sex rubber suit.
Right.
And dads don't need to see that.
No, they don't.
So August 24th, still, Frank contacts the hospital again, where she was a patient. Elaine is still not there. He goes back to his wife's grave where they were a couple days before, and her car is there. She has a little Jeep. He looks in the car. He can see some cigarettes and a lighter. And there is a different charger. It is not an iPhone charger. He only knows her to have an iPhone. But there's a charger in there for a different type of phone. And he thinks that's very strange. But he knows that this grave, I don't know, whatever it's called, Shillelagh grave, whatever, it's right on the sea. Cemetery, I mean.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's right on the sea. And Frank has a fear that she just walked into the ocean. As do her friends, think maybe she went to visit her mother one more time and then walked into the sea, since it's right along the sea. Police, yes, yeah. which made sense for how she was doing in some ways, but in some others, since she was feeling so well and saying she felt so good when she came out to her friends, seemed very strange to Frank. So he doesn't know what to think. Police do issue a missing persons report just to try to see if they can find her. And they look at surveillance footage of her apartment. After her lunch with her dad that day, she does go home. It's about 4:30 p.m. And she tells her dad, though, she was going to stay at home and go to bed early because she had to...
The ships.
She had the tall ships and guide and the annoying tourists to work on.
Just days of her neck cranked back.
Looking at
tall...
And answering questions from dummies or dumb Americans like us. But they noticed right away at 5:05 p.m., there she is back out of her home in a blue hoodie and a navy tracksuit bottoms. And they wonder where she's going. Those bottoms seem to match the ones found.
Yep.
By Millie, the dog.
Was this the real footage that we were seeing, or was this reenacted?
I couldn't tell.
Footage? Okay.
I think it was reenactment because I think the real Elaine had shorter hair.
Yeah, you're right.
So the police are concerned because this doesn't match the story Frank gave them that Elaine gave Frank.
Inside. Yeah.
They notice, too, that Elaine is looking at a phone, but it's not her phone. It is not an iPhone. It's not the phone that was left in her apartment. It's a burner phone, a tiny burner phone. And they're like, what the hell is this?
She's got a burner.
So now there is a mystery they have to solve. They have to figure out where this phone is and who is she contacting on this phone. So a week later, police go again to where her car was found, and they decide they're going to carefully canvass the area because it's a cemetery and a park where you can go on walks and hike and run.
Right.
They talk to people, and there's one man who's kind of a handsome man with a sexy Irish accent, I thought. Was he wearing tiny shorts?
The
runner.
The park. Yeah, he was cute.
And
I thought he was
cute.
a really good actor, too.
I did like him, too, and I thought,
for his one-liner.
He had one line, and he sure killed it.
Yeah, he did.
They didn't zoom in on his bulge enough, though.
Oh, shoot.
They find this guy, or they're showing her picture to everybody and say, have you seen this lady? Seen her about a week ago? Have you seen her? And one guy, a runner, stops and said, yeah, I saw her.
Yeah, I saw her.
And they said, well, what the hell did she, what happened?
What'd you see?
And he said, well, she asked me the direction to the railway bridge. And so he gave her the directions. And then he said she was kind of rude because she just turned around and walked away. And then the police said, was she alone? And he said, yeah. And then the police go to him, did she seem suicidal? He's like, well, good God, I don't know.
Jeez.
People can't judge that in a 1 minute encounter in 2 seconds with a stranger when they're asking for directions to, I guess to a bridge. I don't know. But what the hell? He's like,
weird.
No, I don't know. I'm not comfortable answering that.
I'm
what the
looking
hell?
for the bridge so I can kill myself. Unless
no,
somebody said that.
I'm not going to
how
say
would you
that.
know?
I don't know. What police think now is that Elaine just walked into the ocean. Why go to a bridge then if you could just walk into the ocean?
Right.
So it doesn't make sense anyway.
No.
That she walked into the ocean, and as 13 months go by, her friends and family seem to come to that realization that that is probably a possibility, and they kind of just go on thinking that's maybe what she did that day.
Yeah.
We get again to 13 months later, 15 miles from where Elaine was last seen. September 10th, 2013. Two drunken fucksticks are stumbling along a reservoir. I don't know why you could walk around in there or whatever, but they're like, every night you can drink is a good night. Every night you get fucked up drunk is a great night. And they're walking and one falls down onto the floor. Just falls down onto the ground. Oh, God, did you fall down? Oh, jeez. And then he says, I got a spot of dirt on my hands.
Oh, muddy now.
So he goes over to the reservoir that's usually 20 feet deep, but since a piss poor hot summer in Ireland, it was only like 12 to 18 inches. So he's washing his hands in this filth water.
This is like a major drought. What's going on, Ireland?
It's a bacteria-ridden filth he's washing his hands in. But then he's like, oh, geez, look at what I found. And he pulls out a black bag, and the black bag has a whole bunch of sex stuff in it. Sexy sex things. Like there's a ball gag.
Yeah.
There's a bondage collar. There's some sort of
like a weird mask
thing and weird penis things. I don't know. And it's all in a bag. And the two men are like, oh, it's sick. And they put it back where it was.
This is yours. You left it here, didn't you?
Yeah. So, and then they leave it. And then one of the guys is kind of like, oh, that seemed fucked. Maybe I should go back and get it and fuck it first. And then take it to the cops. No, he didn't do that.
He did not.
But he thought, this seems very strange. I think I'm going to take it to the police. So good instincts for this guy. He takes this weird crap.
Even though he was hammered.
He was drunk as fuck. He remembered that
thing.
He did. He finds this bag, takes it to police. Then the police officer that gets it thinks this is weird fucked shit. He lays all the porn stuff out and dries it out. Ew, it had to stink.
Yeah.
Because it's...
Plus it had been in
mud and bacteria.
Yeah. For 100 years.
So the police officer is like, this is very odd. I'm going to go back to that spot that they thought. I wonder if there's more of this weird, gross stuff. So he goes to this muddy reservoir hole where this was found and digs around, and he finds a set of keys. And the keys have a supermarket loyalty card. I'm glad the Irish do that too.
I'm glad too.
And he looks up the supermarket loyalty card number, and it comes back as Elaine O'Hara.
Oh,
it's her
God.
keys. So this cop doesn't know about her case, though, but he calls in and says, can I find out about Elaine O'Hara? And he realizes she's been missing for 13 months. And he stumbled on this whole case. And then just 5 days later, or just 2 days later, it's when Millie happened to find her bones. So this happens within 2 days of each other. Like she's discovered like this. So it's just like totally weird that she, like, her things pop up like this. It's a miracle almost. That a dog finds her and then this just randomly dug up. I mean, my goodness, if these two things hadn't been found, she would still be unknown what happened to her. So there's very little bone that they can, it's just bone. There's no way they can find out what happened to her or who it is, but there's a jawbone left and it's an exact match to Elaine's dental records. So those remains are Elaine. And so there's a very sad scene where the police have to go to Frank and tell Frank they found Elaine, but she's been murdered. And Frank is just devastated, of course.
Right.
Because it's like, well,
he's like, it's been over a year.
Yeah. Like, come on. And like, why?
Yeah.
So they start a murder case now instead of a missing person case. Within that sex bag of porn stuff, there's 2 cell phones. What kind of a dumbass bitch would kill somebody and not just leave the cell phones?
And leave them.
And not like destroy them.
They're in the bag with the gag?
With the gag and the
things?
dick things
Okay.
and the collar.
Right.
They were very wet, obviously.
Well, they were trying to get rid of him, right? So
yeah,
he
but
was like,
just
here's my
smash
bag that
them.
yeah, right.
Or,
right.
because technology
right,
is pretty
yeah.
good. Just, you would think you'd take out a SIM card and smash it or something. I don't know. All those mob movies, they take it, you break it in half and pieces and all that.
Right.
This guy left him intact.
Right.
They take out the SIM card and stomp on it. And they stomp on the phone. They break it in pieces and put it in different garbages.
What's
I don't
the
know.
show I'm watching now with that red-haired girl?
Sally Jesse Raphael? Reba?
Oh.
Oh,
Face,
yes.
poker face. I was
Did
like,
you know
smiley
when she was a
face?
kid, she was on Pee-wee's Playhouse?
Stop.
Yes. That was her. Drew and I both screamed, Natasha!
Oh.
It's a little tiny thing. And then we have her as an adult on the Pee-wee's documentary.
Oh,
She's there as
really?
an adult, like saying everything that she can remember from being on that show.
Did she love him?
Yeah. I mean, she just was like, it was like, well, it was like a kid's dream.
And it was
so fucking
bizarre.
weird.
Yeah, it was
so
just
she's like, I could do
fucked
whatever I
up.
wanted,
Yeah.
jump on anything, do it,
What? Okay.
Anyway, so the cell phones, they get to work, which is incredible. So,
I could not
I know.
believe it. I screamed
because they've
when I
been
watched
in
this part.
water for over a year. And so they're shitty shitty phones.
Yeah.
So one phone
This
is
wasn't like while
No.
Apple was trying to make like kind of water resistant phones.
no,
These
this
are like
is insane. These are shit ass tech
2000
phones. Yes.
whatever. Yeah.
Flip phones that
Yeah.
barely probably turned on.
Yeah.
So one phone belongs to master and one phone belongs to SLV, slave. And so one phone is texting slave and one phone is texting master. And these texts are fucked. Well, the ones that they
Really
showed us. So I'm
fucked,
sure there's
yeah.
majorly more fucked ones if we were to... I should have looked up the more fucked ones, but... One from master to slave was, I'm your secret killer. And I want to stick my knife in flesh while I'm turned on. So that means he wants to stab people as a boner or stab them while he's porking them. I mean, that's gross. What? That's gross. Blood turns me on. Just do someone on their
Everything
period.
was disgusting.
It was all gross. Like, come on. I don't really want someone bleeding grossly as I'm porking them. I'd be like, put a Band-Aid on that. Thousands and thousands of violent text messages were recovered from these two phones, and they were so gross. Like the cops were like, this is vile.
Right.
So it was very clear that Elaine, being slave, was in a sadomasochistic relationship with master, who got his rocks off from obviously hurting people,
Stab people.
while bonering.
Yeah.
And this was over several years. So they were in this relationship for many, many years. They learned from a friend that Elaine told, I don't know if it's Tooth McGee. I'm sorry. Jesus, I'll try to be better.
No.
That Elaine was seeing a married man and that the married man was not very nice to her. And so her friend said, well, fucking stop seeing him then.
Yeah.
But Elaine tries. And it gets harder and harder and harder because Master is fucking nuts. And it looks like he is very threatening to her.
And also he like, what am I trying to say? He's manipulating her to say that he will have a baby with her someday.
Knowing that she loves children, and that's probably something she really wants, he's going to dangle that carrot in front of her.
Yeah, so he's like, just do what I say and do these nasty things with me, and then I'll get you pregnant and you can have my baby.
So they have a scene where Elaine, they're assuming it's Elaine, is in the rubber suit from American Horror Story. That season 1 was a rubber suit.
I never watched that.
A guy in a rubber suit was like the bad ghost.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. Well, that's not even a spoiler. It's just through the whole thing.
It's okay.
I
said it after you already said it anyway. So
but
it
that
doesn't even
the rubber
matter.
suit thing is like in the ad.
Okay.
So you'll know there's a rubber suit guy. Anyway, that's what she was like in a rubber suit and a mask. She's tied face down and he's just whipping the shit out of her Like, I don't know. That's not going to turn me on.
That's also
maybe
not S&M, is it? I thought it was
no, that's.
I mean, I thought it was more of a controlled environment. I guess I'm sure maybe some people really.
Yeah, I don't know the details of all of them.
Of each other.
Yeah,
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I need to study it more.
Yeah.
So then Master says, if you ever want to die, promise me that I can do it. And she responds, okay, I promise. In some of them.
What the fuck?
And then it will all be worth it when I kill you, Master texts and stuff like that. So when he's saying that he's going to give her a baby, the condition 2 is, if you help me kill someone and take a life, I'll give a life.
Right.
And that's get you pregnant. So
right.
now he's wanting her not
Find
only to do this fucking gross stuff like get whipped and who knows what up the ass or a pine cone up your poop chute.
Yeah.
Find someone for him to kill. So the police are looking.
This is so weird.
At these texts and getting creeped out and wondering what the hell Elaine got herself into.
Right.
She got herself over her head with this creepy psycho.
Right.
For 2 weeks they're looking at these tests, and then police get a clue on the Master's cell phone. They find out where he bought it, and they get a name and address, but it's not real. The name is like Karoom Kasem, but it's not really the name. Then they get a name of a guy called Gordon Chisholm, and so they call in this Gordon Chisholm.
Karoom Kasem turned into Gordon Chisholm.
Yeah. And so they call in this Gordon Chisholm, and they sit him down, and they're like, "You sick fucking freak! You like porking people and stabbing them. You like fucking people who are bloody." And Gordon's like, "Oh my God, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you mean.
I think you have the wrong person.
Yeah, I don't think that's me." And then they realize, yes, they had the wrong person.
Oh my God.
Gordon is traumatized for life. He gets brought into the police station and called a pervert and that he likes to. They said, "You ball gag freak." He was like, "What? I don't understand what's going on. I don't have a ball gag."
What are you talking about?
I've never stabbed someone with a boner.
No.
So they're like, "Oh my God, Gordon, we're sorry. This is our fault entirely. You were free to go, Gordon." So they've made a terrible error. So then they have to look through clues through the text to see if they can find anything that can lead them to Master. So Master tells Maeve at one point he's a new daddy. Gross. And then his daughter Maeve was born, and she's like, "Oh, congrats." I mean, like, I want to hear that.
No.
And then he says, "Guess what? I've been 5th in the flying competition." So the police think, is he a pilot? Do pilots have flying competitions in their Delta planes or what? So they can't find shit about that. And then one police officer says, maybe it's like model airplanes or toy airplanes or something fucked like that. They find there's tons of flying clubs. And so they look at the flying clubs. They look at everyone who comes in 5th. And they find a guy who's married with a baby that was born on the same day that Master had Maeve. And they're like, "We got him. We find him. This is Master." So in October of 2023... they show in the scene knocking on a door. The police, or I think Garda or something they call them in Ireland. A woman answers. Her name is Gemma. And
baby
she's like,
Gemma.
"Hi." And the police are like, "We need Graham Dwyer." And she's like, "Graham?" And so the actor Graham, I thought was handsome.
Yes.
Like a silvery fox handsome.
Yes.
Like I could see, I might let him do some things to me. Not all of them. Some of them. I would have to see a written letter and sign it. And I would check off quite a few things on that list. Then they show the real Graham Dwyer, and I immediately crumple the paper and throw it away. Because he was a nerd, a weird nerd.
Now, I didn't think he was that bad.
Well, he's passable. Like, you would never look at him twice.
He is not.
But he looks
hot.
nerdy.
Yeah. Not hot, but
like not like a badass. He looks like a nerd.
Yes. I mean, someone who would. Well, he is
clearly
rich. He is an architect. He's
a nerd
in a flying
nerd flying club.
But I thought
he doesn't seem like a scary. Like
right.
He looks normal.
But
he looks
not,
totally normal. Like not a
right.
You wouldn't think he's a weird freak like this.
No.
You know, he looks totally passably normal.
No. Yeah.
But I would say
But I
no
mean,
thanks.
when you find out how they met, it wasn't like she was like, "Oh my God, he's so hot," because
that's not
lay eyes on him.
So this is 41-year-old. He did not look 41 either. He looked like he was 25.
Yeah.
41-year-old Graham Dwyer is an architect. His wife is an architect. So they met and they live in Fox Rock. That's what she said. Fox Rock.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, Fox Rock?
Yeah.
But they live in Fox Rock, which is the most expensive neighborhood in Dublin, Fox Rock.
Right.
I wish I could live in Fox Rock. I'm assuming that he has a very small wang, that he needs to do all of this master stuff, I guess. Because you need a lot of hobbly-doo to cover up the tiny wang. I don't know. Maybe not. But he was actually featured in the Irish Times with his wife for fixing up a cute little cottage. I mean, his wife is probably, and they have 2 kids. They're living a beautiful life. Why do you need to do this weird shit? Come on. And he looks, again, totally normal. He has a beautiful life of success. And he's doing this weird ass shit.
There is something wrong with some people. Yeah.
So the police sees all of his electronic equipment from work, from home. And I do not think that at this point Graham thought that they had those cell phones.
No.
Because I think he thinks he got rid of all that shit.
He sure did.
So they pull him aside and put him in the police room and interview him. And they just say, "What do you know about Elaine O'Hara?" And he says, Elaine. Oh, who? Sure. Yeah, I knew Elaine. I emailed her once.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Try again." I said, "Okay, they met on a website for BDSM, but we just emailed." Come on, bitch.
No.
Do you think anyone would believe you just email BDSM pictures back and forth? What do you do to email BDSM club? You email? That's not right.
Nope.
Do you zoom your wiener into the printer and email a picture of your wiener to her and she emails her puss?
No.
And then you put the pictures together? How do you email BDSM? What? The police were like, And then he says, I just wanted to help her. I never fucked her. And they're like, come on, help
kept
her.
saying that
But then why would you meet her at a BDSM thing if you want to help women? Meet him at like a lovely gentleman just helping women online forum.
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't.
It's called sexual predator. Sorry, men helping women.
Predator.net. Come on, gross. And then he says, "We never met in person." Yeah, because you took your picture, your wiener, and her puss and taped them together. That's how it works. And then they said, "Bitch, wrong. We got your cell phones." And he was like, "Oh." And we saw all those gross pervert messages, you gross pervert.
Yeah.
And then he kind of was like, he said, "Lads, it's not me."
I know.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Don't you dare call me lad.
Don't call me a lad, you fucker."
Freak.
And police then look into Graham's past. So he has a past girlfriend called Sarah Murphy. And Sarah says that once when they were porking, he pulls out a knife. And she's like, "No." And he says, "I want to spice things up a bit." And she says, "No." And he says, "Come on." And she says, "We'll put it on the table and we'll pork over here on the bed." And so they start to pork, and then he grabs the knife and is like going to put the knife on her tits or something. And she says,
like, what are you doing?
Yeah. She said, "Told you to leave the knife on the table." And he says, "Come on, baby." And she says, "Absolutely not." And she leaves.
Yeah.
So when Sarah ended the relationship, Graham starts stalking and harassing her like a crazy psycho.
Yep.
So the police go and take a second look at Elaine's apartment, and they do a zoom in up close of her mattress. And find stab wounds or stabbings.
Puncture
Yeah.
In her bed.
So
mattress.
stabbings into the mattress with semen all over it.
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
And then they test the semen.
And it's Graham, of course. So he can't say, lads, it's not me.
I was just trying to help her. I've never even seen her. Yeah.
You saw her. Your wang sure did.
Yep.
Unless you mailed the semen in some sort of envelope
and said, "Here's your help."
Yeah,
and then she splattered.
This is how I
over.
help women with my bulge.
Please smear this all over your mattress.
It will help you. It sure will. Put it on your cereal.
Oh my God.
Brush your teeth with it. Anywho, they also see horrific videos on his computer that are like one step away from being snuff films.
Yeah,
where he's porking women and stabbing the shit out of them.
And most of the videos are of
Elaine, like where he's literally stabbing her.
So but he did have other
film.
Women too that were on there that weren't Elaine.
And she had to say, "Thank you, sir. I like it," as he's stabbing her.
Also, none of them were his wife.
None.
No.
And then there's a video of him stabbing himself, but then they learned it was ketchup because he's a pussy.
Yeah.
Ketchup, as they said. You put ketchup on yourself and pretend to stab yourself? You idiot. How weird.
Not the same consistency at all.
You idiot. And so they show Graham the videos and say, "Is this you fucker?" And Graham's like, "Oh, well, I guess.
You caught me."
So Graham then from jail writes a letter to his wife saying, "It's not me, lads." And Gemma rips up the letter and is like, "Fuck you." She leaves him immediately with the kids because she's mortified because the entire country has this horrible story on the front page news. It takes over as it would here because it has sex, it has murder, it has lying to your wife
and weird shit,
weird double life. So the wife and these kids have to deal with the news, the papers, the horribleness of his crime, what he did, and Elaine's dignity is just dragged through everything, and she's not there to even speak for herself at all. So it's just a horrible situation for every single person involved. Elaine, her family, and idiot Graham's family, who have to deal with this embarrassment that they had nothing to do with. What they figure happened is that Graham planned this murder to get his rocks off and his boner boned. So Elaine was in the psychiatric hospital, and Graham thought, well, I can time this because everyone's going to know now that she has some issues. So if she goes missing, they're not going to think anything happened to her. They're going to think she walked into the ocean.
So he... that's the grossest thing that he did.
That's horrible.
Grosser than anything
this person
else.
you've been in a relationship with.
Yes.
And if you want to do all this stuff, I don't give a fuck if you're both into it. Who cares?
Okay.
But then to use someone that you in a trusted relationship with that you think like, oh my, and well, of course, to murder him is horrible. I mean, anyway, but that she trusted you in this relationship and thought you were going to have like children together, and you like, I mean, my God, what a horrible, awful monster this man is. Yeah. So he tells her, "Come meet me in this park, but leave your purse and your phone. Park your car at the cemetery and walk to this bridge and meet me." So that's what she did. That's why her purse and her phone.
I have this fantasy that I want to do with you in the woods. Wasn't that how he got her up there?
Yeah. And if she can't say no, really, if she wants to,
because she's the slave.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where she saw the hot running guy in the shorts.
Yeah.
And they just show kind of the scene of him seeing her, and she's like, "We really want to do this here in the woods?"
Right.
And he's like, "Yes."
And that's that.
Yeah, he takes her and they show him running away from the scene and then dumping his purse full of shit into a reservoir. Come on, just be smarter about that, you dummy. But it was super not full, like
because it probably was when he dumped it, right? Because it was the
it was the next year
it was
where
a drought.
Drought shrank it all down.
But yeah, those 2 phones did him in. Like
I cannot believe that they could turn right back on.
Yeah.
Good for you, cheap phones.
Fuck yeah, cheap phones.
We don't need expensive phones. Those cheap ones. They say then after he commits murder, gets rid of the evidence, drives home to his wife, according to her, like nothing happened. But they have a scene where like he's like, "I'm home, honey," and Gemma kisses him, and then he looks in the mirror. There's a big blood smear on his face. Still,
no.
I'm like, oh my god.
But that is just dumb dramatization.
Exactly.
Like that didn't. Really.
And then he just goes to work and moves on with his life like nothing because no one noticed any difference in him. Then you're obviously a sociopath. Like you have no guilt.
Had this
and that's
S&M life his whole.
Oh, who knows
time.
how many other people he could have done this to that he never admitted to.
Right.
I mean, it could be a lot.
Right.
And so if little Millie, the dog, hadn't stumbled upon that, or if there wasn't a drought,
right,
we maybe would never know what happened to her.
Right.
So those were 2 intervening things for her. Thankfully, he goes to trial. He's guilty. And he got life in prison. I don't know what that means in Ireland, if it's like us where he's out in 5 minutes.
I think I was just reading, though, that he tried to appeal it and they didn't let him appeal.
But he gets the title of Ireland's most evil murderer.
Seems like it.
Sure does.
Yeah.
And grossest murderer.
And the grossest. Yeah.
You just, come on. That's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Because we don't need to involve your boner in it at all. But men tend to. Their boners tend to get involved with murdering.
Yeah.
And their boners take control and make them do terrible, terrible decisions.
And like we said, this doesn't exactly follow our MO,
No.
but we wanted to do it, so suck it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry. It's done. It's done.
It was a boyfriend who killed a girlfriend,
Yep.
even though...
And you've already listened to it. You can't take it back.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
Yeah. So take that. Join our book club. I will put the link on Facebook when I get home.
Yeah.
From recording, and then I'll try to speed read all night long.
Yeah, I really, really, really liked it.
Okay, good.
But it was kind of like something up my... It was a good mystery, and it was an interesting thing about just a slow burn about character development.
I like slow burns.
Yes.
Okay, good.
And I thought it was fascinating.
I hope I have time to read it. Okay.
But it was, it's long.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
All right. Awesome. So thanks so much for listening.
All right.
And we'll
please share, rate us, and share us with your friends. We would really like to grow.
We do have a Patreon too, if you would like to
listen to special exclusive episodes of Shittery.
And
I've got a new Poop Brain sticker that will go to our latest Patreons that I'm going to send out.
Nice.
Hopefully, when I get my Betty White stamps coming in.
Oh my God.
So those all going out. All right.
Bye.
Bye.